Indonesia, a resource-rich powerhouse in Southeast Asia, holds a mountain of nickel. And instead of simply exporting raw ore, the nation chose to refine its resources locally, setting off a chain reaction that has shaped a significant portion of global industries. And it might as well affect the price of some necessary items we buy in our day-to-day life, as nickel is needed for the production of stainless steel. And guess what? Most kitchen appliances are made of it. From medical equipment to literal doorknobs, nickel is everywhere. But in the current green era, nickel plays a crucial role in the EV market as the primary battery compound, and it's used with existing technologies like lithium-ion batteries to extend the overall range of the EVs. Given such widespread use, what was Indonesia doing with nickel for these many years? To start off, the existence of nickel in Indonesia was found long back in 1901 by Dutch colonials, while independent mining operations started in the 60s and 70s. And for most of its history, Indonesia has been a global exporter to countries like Japan, China, and a few European countries. These mining operations were primarily focused in the central Sulawesi and North Maluku Islands, where the nickel reserves are estimated to 55 million metric tons. That is more than 40% of worldwide reserves, located in a single country. Even with these huge reserves, it took them a long time to actually pull their hands off the dirty mining and try some processing, but they finally did. In 2009, the Indonesian government announced new mining laws, forcing companies to process ores locally before exporting. This ensured that there was now more work to do with the dirty ores, and also prevented them from exporting ores like log shipments. This regulation created new jobs for the locals, so the mission is complete, right? Except not. They needed more. They needed entire industries of nickel. Fast forward 5 years, and in 2014, they specifically banned the nickel ore export, and also put a few requirements like an export tax, building local smelters, etc. This ban was then lifted in 2017 and was planned to be put back again in 5 years, as the goal was to move away from raw exports to a nickel-driven domestic industry, and they needed time to allow the development of this market. Unfortunately, instead of building local industries, the companies started to export nickel ores at an even higher rate than before to maximize the profits. The government finally understood the corporate greed and completely halted the export of nickel ore from 1st January 2020. This ban is still in effect. Now, all hope was not lost, and foreign investors had already started to invest in the Indonesian market, benefiting both parties. And by foreign, I mean the largest industrial powerhouse in the planet, America. China. It was China, obviously. Companies like Xinshan were present in Indonesia since 2009, and they have invested around $10 billion in the last decade, while other Chinese companies like Yangshu and Huayu operate in the central Halmahera region. South Korean companies like LG and Hyundai have also shown interest in the Indonesian nickel. Due to all these investments, or we can say primarily the Chinese investment, low-priced nickel ore exports got turned into valuable items like nickel mats and ferronickels, while a portion of nickel was turned into MHPs, a critical material for EV batteries. Altogether, these processed goods became a significant portion of the total exports in a very short time, which is much more profitable to sell and tax for the government than just plain ores. The iron and steel industry also grew by $15 billion in just 3 years. Many of these processed nickel goods also saw as much as 10 times increase in the exports. Local job markets got some huge buffs. For example, the Indonesia Morowali Industrial Park alone employs over 80,000 local and Chinese workers. Unemployment in the regions of Sulawesi and Maluku have also decreased compared to the last decade. Now, before this video turns into a Disney movie, I would like to include some other things that also grew by a lot. The dependence on China. The export of nickel articles to Chinese increased by 317,000% in just 3 years. By the way, we are going to ignore the 600 million% increase of the Netherlands, because it went from $25 million to 165, which is a tiny change compared to the Chinese shift from 1.6 million to over $5 billion in the same length of time. Simply put, China eats Indonesian nickel at breakfast. Almost 24% of all Indonesian trade is with China. This includes their minerals and animal product exports as well. This dominance is unimaginably high in the steel and nickel industries, reaching almost 70% of total exports. In short, the Indonesian dream of becoming a global superpower is still limited to a few Asian countries and pretty much dominated by a single country, while the Western companies are still very reluctant to invest.